All right, what is up, Speak Truth Sports? I'm Bert. Today I'm here with Sparsh and Luke, and we are going over more Ben Simmons drama. We can't escape it. We can't get away from it. This is something that should have ended like 3 months ago, but it's still going on. Recently, Ben Simmons made some comments in the past week or so about how he, quote, doesn't feel like Embiid's the best fit with him, and that he feels like Embiid's clogging his driving lanes, basically, right? He didn't say that himself, but it's the stuff that's come out from the sources around him. So it's likely to be able to be traced right back to him, that he told somebody this and they told somebody this. And Embiid made a pretty passionate response. Sparsh, do you want to summarize basically what he said?
Yeah, I mean, I'll summarize this because this guy went off on like a huge rant about this. So this basically was sort of mentioned at around media day. And to basically sum it up, what he's been saying is that our teams have always been built around Ben's needs. And he sort of talks about like the shooters on the team. And he says, Seth, one of the best three-point shooters ever, Danny Green, Tobias, 40% three-point shooter, Furkan off the bench, and at times Shake. I think he can be a better shooter. And, he also mentions that this situation is weird, disappointing, borderline kind of disrespectful to all the guys out there. And, he says that obviously we're a better team with him. We're not a better team without him, that's for sure. But, I'm focused on the guys that are here. And, we still hope that he changes his mind, but I kind of owe it to the guys here to worry about what we have going on here. That's the fun of the job, to kind of figure out what's going to happen. That's not my job. I'm not the GM. I'm not an owner. So that's not my business, honestly. And he also sort of takes a shot at sort of like the front office, saying that even the main reason that we signed Al, we got rid of Jimmy, which I think is still a mistake, just to make sure he, as in Ben Simmons, needed the ball in his hands. And that's a decision they made. Like I said, it is surprising. And, he also mentions at the end that, we've got some guys here that are pretty much fighting for their lives, and as a contender, these guys will definitely have a spot, even if they contribute a bit to the team. So we can all tell that he's kind of tired of this nonsense. I think everybody kind of is at this point. What do you guys think?
Go ahead, Luke.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay. Man, I think what Ben Simmons is implying is baloney. It's bogus. It's downright blasphemous, because this man, Ben Simmons, has done nothing to try and help Embiid out with anything he's done. Embiid's kind of right, where the team's bent to what Ben needs, but Ben hasn't compromised on his end. Embiid started shooting threes so they could have a lane for Ben to drive in more often. In fact, in these past playoffs and in this past season, he was spotting up a three more than I've ever seen. So he's not clogging the paint. He can shoot the ball. He's not clogging the paint by any means for Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons just can't get a shot off outside of 8 feet. That's his problem. Honestly, it's more on Ben Simmons for why this doesn't fit or why this isn't working right now than it is on Embiid. Embiid has done as much as he can to try and adjust to Ben. Ben has done nothing back. He just expects everybody to bend to his will, which is arrogant. It's downright ludicrous, and it's just being a horrible teammate. He's not a LeBron James where he can demand this. He's not a superstar. He's not on the superstar level, so he can't be making these demands.
I agree with that, and I'm gonna point something out here that's gonna prove why this situation is some garbage.
Okay.
So I feel like the most important and second most important positions in basketball are the point guard and the center. You can look at so many different successful teams throughout history. There's a fired point guard and a fired center, like Steve Nash and Stoudemire, or anything like that. There's usually a really good center and a really good point guard. Yeah. And you have an elite, one of the best centers in the league. A very good team in general, like lots of good role players, good shooters. So what's missing here in this scenario, because you have an elite defending, elite shooting center, one of the best in the league, top 1 or 2 center, depending on where you put Jokic, where's the problem? You got great players, great shooters, best center in the league, possibly. Where's the problem lie? Your point guard is not doing what he needs to do. You have the wrong guy in that position. They gotta find someone. And they so many good players.
Yeah. I kind of find it surprising that he did sort of say that Embiid was the one that was clogging up the paint, especially when you see sort of the spacing and the mismatch that sort of happens when you get Ben Simmons to go in the paint, and then once he gets to like that dunker spot, he just really stays there and he doesn't really have any off-ball movement. It was just surprising to see that, because we see a lot of games where Embiid is just driven to the mid-range, or he's forced to take like a 3-point shot when, Philly has like a bunch of other shooters that they can really rely on, and Embiid could just be in the paint instead. So, to see Ben Simmons' comments about that, I don't see where he can really have any substance to back that up, because it's literally the opposite. It's him that's been doing that. Now what's been sort of happening is that the Sixers have already not paid. They've already withdrawn that first installment of payment. So he's already lost $8.25 million around there. So, I mean, that's already significant money of that $200 million contract lost. And now the thing that I'm really curious about with this situation is that, is he going to keep on staying out, or do you think that by the time the season comes, he will be participating in the games?
He's burned every bridge possible. I mean, when you make those type of comments about your team's star player, and you refuse to let your teammates even board a jet just to see you, just to speak to you, you tell them, I don't even want to talk to you guys. He's burnt every single bridge. He's not going to play a single minute for this team again. He doesn't want to show his face in Philadelphia. He's going to be booed out of the stadium. And honestly, from the Philly fans' perspective, rightfully so. I just think that he's completely done. I would genuinely be surprised if he was actually on the roster when the regular season started. I know preseason just started as of when we're recording this, but I don't expect him to be on the roster as soon as the regular season starts, because the team that's trading for him now needs to build a little bit of chemistry at least. So if it's the Timberwolves, I expect them to throw a package together. The Sixers are probably just going to have to bite. There's no way that you can just keep holding this guy. Especially if you're trying to compete, because now Embiid's going to be angry that you haven't traded him yet, haven't gotten anything for him. And then now you're throwing a handicapped Sixers team out there without, let's be honest, Ben Simmons is an elite defender. So you're basically losing a great part of your defense and replace it with nothing. So
yeah, I think the 76ers just need to cut their losses at this point.
Yeah.
Trade him for whatever you can get. You just need some point guard. Trade him for Ricky Rubio. Trade him for Eric Bledsoe or something.
No.
Trade him just any point guard that's not him. What I'm telling you, they will not be able to get a lot for him. They are going to need to step down and get like Ricky Rubio and a pick, or like
I don't think they're going to be that desperate to sort of do a trade where they get like either Ricky Rubio or Eric Bledsoe. I think that's like a really big reach. I don't even know if the other teams will even agree with that. I mean, we'll see. I mean, it's just a really weird situation, but like to see where they are at right now, at least at their guard position, at least we see Tyrese Maxey that can be at the guard position. And honestly, I would be really happy if I was a Sixers fan to see him get more playing time. He's definitely had those spurts in the middle of the season last year, and even in the playoffs, where like having him as that guard position has really helped the team. I'm just not sure who's even going to want to trade for him at this point. I know, reports have been coming out that more teams, or not more teams, but there are teams that are still sort of inquiring about him, as a Timberwolves, Raptors. Is there any other teams that I missed? I think there was like 4.
I don't think the Raptors are still on it, but I know that the Cavs are. The Nuggets were reported to be, but I don't know if they still are in the race.
Yeah, I kind of find it weird that the Raptors are the ones that are reported, because there was also reports from Canadian sources saying that once they got Scotty Barnes, then anything regarding Ben Simmons is sort of off the table. So I'm probably going to stick with that source, especially because I don't think they even want to take that contract anyways, right? I mean, that's just an absurd amount to pay. I think 160 million is still left in that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be shortened if they keep holding out of the money. So.
And I don't see the Nuggets wanting him either. I mean, he's literally gonna be the same exact situation he's in now, but with the other best center in the league.
Yeah. Luke, I want to go back to something you said about how point guard and center are like the two most important. I disagree with you. I actually think small forward nowadays is more important than point guard. But point guard's still an important position. That being said, I think the Sixers made a big mistake, and Embiid actually admitted this when they let go of Jimmy Butler. And letting him go and keeping Ben Simmons over him and Tobias Harris, massive, massive mistake looking back. Of course, hindsight is 20/20, but look, if you're a Miami fan, you got to thank Ben Simmons, because without him, you wouldn't, and Kawhi Leonard, y'all wouldn't have Jimmy Butler. So.
Yeah, I mean that was definitely like sort of a big shot at the front office. I used to remember, Elton Brand, and then those like lineups, what four-man center lineups. That was probably one of the most absurd times to be alive as a Sixers fan. Actually, there was something that I wanted to sort of also bring up.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's I find it funny because now that Embiid has sort of said all these comments about it, people are just getting mad at him for being too honest about it. I mean, we've seen a lot of mainstream media where they're like, yeah, even if you have to say it, you should, even if you feel that's the correct way, you shouldn't have said it. But at this point, I think, like, there's only so much that you can take before eventually you're just kind of fed up with it. And you just sort of have to establish the mindset, at least in the locker room, that, hey, this is the team that we're riding with. He's most likely not coming back. I mean, I think it's like 99.99% sure. So, I mean, it's just not a good mood to have in the locker room. And I don't really see any problem with what he said. Embiid was just being straight honest about this.
No, he's totally right. I mean, I think we should reward players for being honest, because that's always what we want. We always want players to speak their mind. Look, it makes for juicier headlines if you're a media person, right? So, I don't think we should be bashing Embiid for speaking his thoughts. He tried to be cordial. He tried to be polite about it before, and he was like, we still use Ben and all that. But once Ben Simmons talked about him indirectly, I mean, you could tell that pissed him off. Like
I mean, yeah, if it comes out of the Clutch camp, then it's definitely coming from him.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, whatever Rich Paul says, he's just pretty much amplifying what his agents or clients are sort of saying. Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, and I mean, this whole saga just has gone on way too far, like, and way too long. It should not have lasted into training camp. Daryl Morey needs to get something done. Like, there's no way you can let a team head into the season with this giant issue on their backs. And something else I also want to talk about is that if you're a team, or if you're a player on the team that Ben Simmons is traded to, how are you going to feel playing with him? Because you saw what he just did, what he just said, how he treated his former teammates, who, like Embiid said, have done nothing but just try to accommodate him. What's he going to do to your team? How's he going to treat you guys? Honestly, he could be a locker room issue on another team, just from the reputation he has alone, right? He's built this reputation now from trying to hard-nose his way out of Philly. And look, I mean, if I'm a player on the team that he gets traded to, I'm not sure if I'm too happy about it, because if he doesn't try to fit in and he just tries to make me as a player just completely form around him, I'll be feeling some type of way, because you just got here, bro. Like, you gotta let the coach incorporate all of us together. Like, just because you can't shoot doesn't mean I gotta play a certain way, especially if it's not as good for the team. If it's not as good for the team, I'm gonna play in the best way for the team. Like,
they're gonna have to find whatever team he goes to is gonna have to be a team that has everything they need except for some defense, and maybe some playmaking. Because that way, he's not going to go there and say, build a team around me. He's going to be fitting into he's going to be filling the weak spots of a roster that's already good.
Yeah.
To like, also, a side note, well, I guess it's a side note. I also heard rumors about him possibly going to the Pacers and fitting in there. But that's like the sleeper of the places he might go.
Well, I mean, they said that the Nuggets was a sleeper, and then after that, they signed Michael Porter Jr. to like a $172 million max. So, like, at this point, I can't really take these reports seriously at this point. It's just,
yeah. I don't know though, because I feel like between the two, if you had to decide, like, if they sent Ben Simmons to the Nuggets or the Pacers, which one would be higher? I think it's more likely he goes to the Pacers because they're a young team and they're going to try to fill another young guy in so they have a space to work for the upcoming, 10 years.
I mean, I don't know. The Pacers already have a lot of good pieces, and they could be a piece away, but like I don't think Ben Simmons is that piece. They have Sabonis and Miles Turner in the paint already.
he's going to end up blaming them.
Clogging Ben Simmons' passing lanes, or his driving lanes. So I don't think it would work out on the Pacers unless they got him on a complete bargain. Like, then it's like, okay, how do you pass up on that deal? But yeah, also just kind of going back to him losing that money real quick. To people who are like saying that's unfair to Ben, look, bro, he signed a contract that says he's going to play games for this team. He is fully healthy. He is not injured, and he is not playing games for this team. So he is breaching the contract, and he is not getting paid. Actually, he's getting revoked. Just like a normal job, right? You don't show up, you don't get paid. So
I'm excited to see the next Clutch Sports post on his Instagram. We'll see him shooting some more 3-pointers.
you see that video of that kid who was like, whoa, when Ben Simmons was actually making threes at practice.
Whoa, it's like seeing the wonders of the world.
Like, wow.
The eighth wonder,
Like,
Ben
look,
Simmons
look.
making 3. Hey, Mom, get the camera.
All right.
Man.
I think we've run our course on this topic. We're all just tired of talking about Ben Simmons.
The blasphemy. How do you go to your teammates and coaches and be like, I can't score because you guys are in the way. I can't get to the basket because you're standing there. Get out of the way when I try to get to the basket. I'm trying to make a layup right now.
He literally he's talking
Audacity.
like a dude on 2K
So funny,
on
man.
my park. He's like, just give me the ball, bro. Just
It
give me
seems
the
like
ball.
no, it sounds like
Don't
the
shoot,
interview.
don't shoot.
It sounds like the interview after like a bad game where they'll be like, why do you think like you didn't play well? And then you'll say like, oh, it'll be like, click Y to say like our whole team needs to put in more effort. And you'll click it and it'll be like, yo, my team sucks, bro. These guys out here ain't doing anything for me. I'm doing this whole thing by myself. They're taking off my shots. I can't do nothing on this team, yo.
Teammate grade down.
Yeah.
Team chemistry down.
Team
I'm
chemistry down.
I'm
Fans
glad I
up.
passed on him in my fantasy, so I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
Anyways.
He wouldn't be getting many points in fantasy football right now.
Right, that's okay. Stop this, Luke. All right, this is thank you all for watching. This is probably all we got to say on this. Like, subscribe, share, do all that good stuff. We really appreciate it. And I've been Bert.
I'm Sparsh.
Luke.
We'll catch you guys next time. So tune in. Thanks for watching.